Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Good morning. I am Pastor Michelle along with my husband, Pastor Waylon Gibson. We greet you in the name of Jesus. We pray your day is going well. Keep in mind, always keep prayer at the forefront of your mind. And whenever you hear some news or you receive something that you don't think is right, remember, prayer is the key and faith unlocks the door. Because you have to put your faith in God, because He is the only one that's going to give you the answer and the peace while you're going through. Because if you get caught up in going through, sometimes we don't make it through because we so caught up in what's happening. And that's what the enemy wants you to do. He wants you to feel like you don't have no hope, or feel like life ain't gonna be right. But I want to tell you, God got a plan for your life. He has a purpose and a destiny for you. And as long as you hold on and keep your faith in God, He'll work it out for you. And I just talked about it Tuesday night. It's like when you have compassion and you have love for others, and in your giving, you'll see how God will begin to manifest and change things in your life. And like I said, when you heap coals of fire upon your enemy's head, and I said I had to look at that thing because I was just like, wow. With our enemies, we sometimes want to pray and ask God to destroy our enemy because they are an enemy. But the Word of God says, have compassion and be tender-hearted towards your enemies.
But I got in the Psalms 10 to 15 scriptures that talk about, Lord, avenge me of my adversaries.
The Lord will avenge you, not you go and avenge yourself.
I know, I'm joking with you. But one of the things that we have to keep in mind is that Old Testament is the New Testament concealed, but also it speaks of an old covenant. I'm sorry, I think I can turn my music on. Y'all excuse me for a minute. We do not own the rights to this
music. Yes, I didn't even think about it, but yes, you have to learn how to not hear the old cliches and the old adages that we learned years ago. You got to renew your mind.
Yes.
And you got to see with the eyes of Jesus. And Jesus said He has compassion.
Right, on people. So one good example of how, remember, we're in a much better covenant, according to the book of Hebrews, on surer promises.
Sure.
One understanding of that, Jesus, as He walked the earth teaching, said, you've heard it said, an eye for an eye. And then He upgraded the standard from what you do to me, I do to you, is love your enemies. Do good to them that despitefully use you. Say all manner of evil against you. So there are aspects of Old Testament principles and rules that we have to make sure before we execute these things in the earth. Let me see what the better covenant says.
Yes.
The better covenant says, do this. Vengeance is mine, I shall repay, saith the Lord. So we have to make sure we balance some things off. And that's just for the sake of, for those of us who go around, touch not my anointed, do my prophet no harm. Boo. We are all the Lord's anointed. Every born again believer is the Lord's anointed. So from that perspective, such as scripture that says, when you have an ought against your brother, if you have an issue with another saint of the Most High God, that person is your brother. And before you give God your gift, go be reconciled. Not, my head's going to be my motivators. Yeah. Go get it right. Go work on it. Go fix it. When we as a body of believers globally make it the common practice of walking out the Word of God, some of the silliness that we have going on is going to change. Will begin to change because we understand, oh, I have to sometimes put myself into your situation and put myself in your shoes to understand you. So therefore, how can I say I love God who I don't see and hate my brother who I see, and yet, and I'll say it this way, and go and support people that want to do my brother harm? That's not.
And someone said, how do we identify enemies? Because David had armies coming after him. Well, sometimes an enemy, you know that an enemy, okay, David and Saul. Saul became David's enemy because David could calm what was in Saul down. And Saul knew that the kingdom was rent from him. And he saw how David, how David conducted himself and how people began to praise David and began to say, Saul killed 1,000, David killed tens of thousands. And so then that brought jealousy in Saul's heart even the more, because he knew, and we know in the body of Christ sometimes if a person can preach and teach the gospel in a different light or a different way, sometimes we get jealous. Sometimes we get envious because I want to preach like that, or either they ain't even scratch their butt, I can do better. And the moment you say you can do better and you go to stand up and try to put another person down that is in ministry, then that opens a door for you for problems, because then now you become the enemy and the person sees you as a threat, or the person sees you as a threat and they become your enemy. And like I said Tuesday night, I had a person, she thought I was her enemy because the people that she was with was telling her I wasn't for her. And so then she decided to do a different thing, and she thought that I wasn't going to support her. I supported her. I still support her in everything that she does. She had to go back and uproot her thinking because that person warped her thinking.
Right.
Warped her to the point that she felt like, she a hater against me. But the whole time, the person that kept telling her I hated her was her hater.
Right.
And so she came to a place, she don't see that person no more. That person don't even deal with her. But yet I get honored by her.
Right. So, but also one of the easiest ways to determine whether or not a person is your enemy. Mm-hmm. If a person is your enemy, one, just like in the case of David, David had armies coming after him. Those armies did not have covenants with God. Now, here's the thing. David never considered Saul his enemy. Mm-hmm. Even though Saul was coming to kill him, David said, I will not touch the Lord's anointed. So David had this concept, this understanding that if he's the Lord's anointed, I put my hand on him, I invoke the wrath of God on my life. David understood that, and that's why I think it was not either last Sunday or last Tuesday that I said, how many people knew that the kingdom was taken from Saul? Mm-hmm. Per scripture, 2 people on the earth knew. Yeah. Saul and Samuel. Mm-hmm. Scripture never says Samuel told anybody. Mm-hmm. Samuel even while scripture says that while Samuel was praying for King Saul, as was his custom, and he was praying that God would restore the kingdom back to Saul, God tells Samuel, how long will you mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him? I've already found his replacement. Go to such and such place, to the house of Jesse, and anoint his, and I'll tell you what you're going to do to anoint his son. Take your horn of oil with you. And Samuel says, God, if Saul hears that I'm going to go anoint the next king, he's going to kill me. Mm-hmm. Kind of paraphrasing. And God says, say that you're going to go sacrifice the Lord and have a feast there. And then I'll show you what else. I'll point out to the person who I've chosen is going to be. And that's what he did. So Samuel moved in what I call godly secrecy to move and do a thing to anoint the next king. And based on scripture, here again, it doesn't even say that Samuel tells Jesse and David the kingdom has been rent from Saul. Doesn't really say that. that said that he told them that. So there's no confirmation that anybody knew but those two. So here comes the thing. When David's running for his life from King Saul, and King Saul and his men, his army men, are in the cave chasing David. Mm-hmm. David's mighty men said, now we got him. Let's take him out. We be done with him. You be king tomorrow. David, like, we take him out. And David goes and sneaks through all of Saul's armies, his regiment, and cuts the skirt of Saul off. He was going to kill him, but he changed his mind, cut his skirt off, and then goes. He was so remorseful in just cutting the skirt off. But let me show you what the skirt could symbolize to Saul. David, once he gets away from Saul, goes to the high ground and says, Saul, I have your skirt. Mm. It reminds Saul, you ain't the man no more. Mm. He now has the skirt. If I could be the producer or the director in the movie to direct this scene, I would immediately have Saul flash back to the same skirt that he rent off of, the same part of the skirt that he rented off of Samuel, which caused Samuel to say, this day the kingdom has been taken from you, will be the same size of the skirt that David cut off and is holding in his hand. Reminder, Saul, the kingdom has been rent from you. You ain't the king no more. Saul knew. David did not know. Because David's like, I will not touch the Lord's anointed. He even repented for cutting the skirt, or even cutting a little piece of cloth off his clothes. David walked honestly, honorably. And this is why I say, if the person who is coming at you, who we're calling an enemy, is a believer, not that they like you, but they love the Lord, and they're confessing Christ as their Lord and Savior, and you know pretty much that they're not the witch, the warlock, the whatever, because we got some of them running rampant too. Not, but we got some of them trying to fake the funk. But that they are whatever, we still are obligated to do what? To do what the Bible says concerning having an ought against your brother, or knowing that your brother, your sister has an ought against you. And we do our due diligence to try to fix, but we don't spend years, months, and all of our life energy going after people who got a problem with you. It is going and say, hey, are we cool? Like, we all right? Because I felt like something. And if I'm wrong, please forgive me. Go in such humility and gentleness. I always say, give them the easy out. And if they say, yeah, I got an issue with you, well, can we fix? And if we can't fix, then let's just agree. You go your way, I go my way, and we call it what it is. I don't like that you're up there playing the music and you do whatever. I can't help where the Lord placed me. That ain't got nothing. I don't got nothing to do with that. I'm sorry that you can't stand that I'm there and it's make you feel some kind of way. But my prayers are with you. Move on about your business. I'm not going to put myself down to make you feel better because I'm moving in what God's called me to do. That's not what. But if I've done something to you physically or verbally, or if I'm not spoken to you, or if you feel like you just don't like me, I probably don't know you, but there may be a reason why we just ain't rocking like that, and you want to be closer than close. But it's hard to get in my inner circle, and sometimes I've had to explain to people I'm not one who just make besties just like that. We can go somewhere, have a wonderful time in the Lord, and be like paddling and laughing and kiki and ha it up. That don't mean we're going to be besties next week. That just means we were in a situation, we're in a spot, we had to go do something, wherever we were in the same location, we had a wonderful time, we got a great memory, and that's a good starting point, or that's a good historical mark. It's a good memorial. We had a great time on this trip, on this day, because you were there, I was there, and we got to kind of know each other a little better. It's great. Now we're getting back into the regular routine. Let's see how it goes from here. Because it may have just been because of our mutual camaraderie and the things of God that we were able to laugh and have a good time and joke, and I got to stay out of trouble, you got to stay out of trouble. The alcohol was pouring around, and we sitting there drinking iced tea and fruit drinks and just having a good time and whatever, and enjoying the vibe, and it was what it was. You helped me to stay out of sin and backsliding. I helped you to stay out of sin and backsliding, and we had a great time. But don't come off the trip thinking we're now besties. That's not quite it. But if you want to try to build something future going further, we can have a conversation. But don't automatically assume that all of a sudden, because of a moment, we had a moment, not a history.
But then that
and some people act. I'm saying some people act like that. They think because they're in the body of Christ and they come into the church, everybody's supposed to love you. And godly love you, yes, but I don't have to like you. I don't have to like you. But we were at the conference and we had to do a thing. Yes, we were at the conference because pastor said, go to this conference, get the information, bring it back. And since they sent us to represent the ministry, we kind of was, in a sense, having to hang together a little bit because we were the two there when we were on the same assignment. So we made the best of the assignment. We had a really great time. Now, you want to come back and do that. I like you. I got to know a little bit about you. We're kind of cool now, but we ain't besties. Like, slow your roll. Some people in the body go from being strangers to besties in 5 minutes. Some of us ain't like that. Get to know the person who labors among you. It's going to take time. Now, if you want to say, hey, can we have lunch next week? You busy? I think how about Saturday? I can squeeze out some breakfast on a Saturday morning. Okay, let's go have breakfast. And then we see where this goes. Like some of us, because of how our culture and life has dealt each and every one of us, and I'm not trying to say that the way I'm saying it from my perspective is the right way to go. I am just simply saying I've had to explain certain things of how I operate for people to understand. I don't make besties in 5 minutes. It takes a long time for me to trust you enough for you to become my bestie. If I call you family, and let you around my family, my people, and at my house on a regular basis, and I'm constantly around you when we get together, then there could be something to that, and we could be building something really great as the Lord is in the midst. But it takes me a long time, generally speaking, just because of my upbringing and my culture and the scars of my life, to get to a place, and I'm not even trying to say that that's right. I'm just saying that I've told people this is how I operate and flow. And if you feel like my friendship is worthy of the effort, then put your time in. It is what it is. But if you get frustrated because I don't call you like you call me, and you act like you ain't got no time for me, and we might not be able to jive and rock. And I could be wrong on the issue. It's just I'm a turtle when it comes to friendships. Because my friends are my friends are my friends. My first concern is with my family and my God and ministry. My friends understand that. I have the best of friends that we don't talk every week, every month. But when we get together, like, hey, what you doing? Oh, let's get together real quick. And we get together and we talk. It's like we pick up from where we left off as if nothing ever happened, like we ain't lost no time. Because we're like-minded. That's where I go, we're like-minded. And I'm not trying to act like I'm better than anybody. I'm just saying this is way. I have standards. I have a way, a process of things. And yes, there's one couple that became besties with us way faster than I wanted. It was way faster than I wanted. Matter of fact, I didn't even want them at my house when my wife invited them to the house for dinner. It was an inconvenience for me. It was an aggravation for me until we sat to the table and then we started talking. And all of a sudden, 2 hours later, I'm like, oh, this dude is like me. And I don't know what this really is. I'm like, God, what are you doing? And all of a sudden, stuff was going on. Like, it was hanging out and God was doing something. And every time they were like, we want to go get something to eat. I was like, I don't want to go out to eat with them. God, we ain't got no money. I'm going home. I got $227.13 in my bank account. I'm going home. And God goes, go out to eat. Go out to eat. Go with him, I got you. What you mean you got it? Go out to eat, I got you. And then we sit at the table and the bill is like 100 and something, whatever. And God's like, take care of the bill. Jesus, I ain't got but two. And I am going through changes. And I'm like, and I'm like, God, what is this? And God is doing something. And so those are those God moments. So unless God do a moment, I'm at a turtle pace. And that's okay for those of us who go at a turtle pace. Because I need to be able to trust you. And if I can't trust you, if I feel I can't trust you, you're going to be frustrated with me because you can't get in. Also, I want people to understand. The Bible also says when a man's ways please the Lord, he'll make even his enemies be at peace with him. So my focus is never on enemies per se, because I'm always thinking, Like, who is spending their time hating on me?
It's some people though that come into your presence and they see how God is using you, or they see that favor is on you, and they'll start saying, you know,
yeah,
oh, he ain't quite who he say he is.
He think he all that.
Or don't trust what he say. Don't, you know, and stuff like that. And they try to tend to poison another person's perspective of you.
My favorite, yeah. Why you so arrogant? Yeah, like you know everything. So you want me to tell you stuff that I don't know? Like I don't. Sometimes people make statements about they just so arrogant. Well, what's arrogant about them? They think they know everything. Well, usually people talk about what they know or what they think they know. So at the end of the day, so for me, I'm like who is wasting their time thinking about how much they can't stand me? I'm not thinking about you. And it's not a diss to you. It's like I got better things to do than to be thinking about how I can't stand somebody. I can't stand them because they always get to whatever. Can't stand Kymir because his hair is all curling, whatever, look all nice. He can do all kinds of stuff with it. And here I got this right. Ain't nobody, like who? I don't have the, and I remember telling somebody this and they got upset with me. It's like, I don't have time to be thinking about you like that. I got too much to work on myself with. I'm 24/7, 12 hours minding my own business, and then 12 hours staying out of everybody else's. I don't want to know your business, because as a prophet, when God tells me something, shows me something about you, I become obligated to a fast and prayer and intercession time for you. And I really would have to, I would really rather not. Because then, watch this. If the Lord then have me to come and talk to you about something he's going to do in your life, and I share it with you, and it touches a spot, because you're thinking, God don't never tell nobody what I got going on. And God don't never reveal your secrets to nobody, and da-da-da-da. But God's like, I've been trying to get your attention and tell you about something, but you don't want to listen. And you've been asking me, God, what's going on? What you want me to do next? And so they send way with a word to say, hey, the Lord says he's going to this and this and this in your life. Or I see your life going this and this. And then I've had people get mad with me, talk about, because 2 weeks later when stuff started getting out, because they was telling folk what the Lord said, and in telling them what the Lord said, they're telling their business because they gave all the other details that I did not share with nobody. Because the only way God trusts the prophet with information is because the prophet can hold information and not go blab it, grab it, and tell it and post it on social media. Let me tell you what the Lord told me today. And you never see me do that. So when they tell it, and because it gets out and not everybody knows, they look at me like, you told the Lord. I ain't say nothing. Who could I tell? I'm obligated by God not to spill your business. Because if I tell it, he don't tell me nothing else.
Most people tell their own business,
and most
they talk to.
And they talk to. Because they talk to their bestie, and their bestie got a bestie.
Even like, okay, scenario yesterday, what happened, and the person was like, I'm going to tell y'all what happened. And the mate was like, what the world? Why are you telling everybody? Everybody, because they was like, it used to be years ago, we didn't have it to get it. This time we got it to keep it, and it still was taken. And but the mate was like, you didn't have to tell nobody, because it's kind of an embarrassment to me. But I was like, only to you is it an embarrassment, because she's saying years ago she would have spazzed out, or she would have lost it because of the situations that happening. This time I'm at peace, and the peace of God is reigning over me. So I'm not gonna let it be a thorn in my flesh.
Right. But it's a great lesson. Married couples understand it's not just your business, it's our business. And sometimes you want to get the okay to share.
Yeah, you do.
What it is. And I love how the other person handled it, because they were just like, well, you gotta tell everybody. Like, I don't really want everybody to know. And they just kept going their way, and he just let it go, and just let it ride, because it was, oh, the way is already made. It's just a big inconvenience. And that's what the person realized was, it's just a big inconvenience. I'm also looking at it as, this is an attack of the enemy because he's trying to come after not just the inconvenience, but to try to steal some of your resources. Because now, and this is where I look at systems of things and I'm like, ooh, contend in the spirit with that for your restitution. Because everybody's trying to go, well, we can't do nothing about this and this and the third, whatever. I'm like, your inconvenience is valuable. Your time is valuable. You inconvenience me. You owe me something. You need to do this or whatever the case is. And even if in the natural the person can't do it, from a spiritual aspect, I am also looking at, man, just when you're trying to build, not even per se wealth, but you're just trying to build and get to a place where you have a consistent flow of a certain amount in your accounts, the enemy will come at you to try to say, no, you can't get comfortable on this level. He's going to try to attack, but you must stand firm in what God is doing, what God is saying, and how he's moving, so that you can become comfortable at the level you're supposed to be at, so that you begin walking out of the land of lack, the land of, ooh, the light bill is due. I don't get paid again till the 15th, and today is the 6th. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait a couple days to the last minute. On the day that they're gonna cut it off, I'm gonna write the check and drive by the place once they're closed and put it in the slot. So that way, by the time they get it in the morning, I got a couple more days. And if if it hits the account, well, this is back in the day. It's gonna take 2 to 3 days for the check to hit the account, so I'm good. But if it hits the account and it kind of goes bad, they're gonna charge me a $25 or $35. Well, back then it was $25. Yeah. $20 late fee or whatever insufficient fund fee, but they'll let it go through, and I'll just pay the extra $25, $35 on the check when I get paid. And it's like God, and in that, but here's the thing, I lived that level. Because we had to live that level, or something as simple as, here's the principle. I got these credit credit cards. So my credit card payment was on our major one that I used to pay the bills for the house, is with the interest and everything, it's like the payment like $150. So what I would do is I would take my light bill and put the light bill money on the credit card. In doing so, I kill, because while I'm doing this, I'm paying my credit card $200. So I get credit for paying my credit card. And I use that $200 to then pay my light bill. So now I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. And the $100 that I freed up, I then said, okay, I can then use that to pay my phone bill and then whatever. And we were maneuvering. So God's like, that was that season. You're going to get to the place where first of the month, you're going to pay all your bills. Oh, Jesus, like, how are we going to get to that? And so over time, he's like, this is where you're going to get to. This is what you're going to get to. You're bringing extra bills down, and you're knowing exactly where your money's going. And he would ask me, and this is God honest truth, Holy Spirit would ask me questions. If I sent somebody to you today or tomorrow to say, the Lord told me to pay all of your household expenses for a year, how much do you ask for? Without just throwing out some crazy number. Oh, give me 2.5 million. That ain't what you need to live off of for the year. And he's like, so how much does it cost to run your house for a year? And I had to sit there and calculate that amount out. He's like, how much debt do you have? If I send someone to you tomorrow to say, the Lord told me to pay all of your debts, what's your debt? Like IRS credit report debt. How much debt do you have? What will you say? And for a while, I was given the number that I knew for me. We had the house and the cars we had at the time and student loans and them. I'm this much in debt. And he's like, but what about your wife? And then one day he's like, but that ain't Shelly's debt. I was like, Shelly got debt? I was like, oh, Shelly got her own stuff. Because she got her own credit report. I was like, I don't know what her stuff is. So I had to go ask her one time, like, how much debt you got? And paying attention is when I was like, oh, she got this business stuff that she's dealing with. So I'm like, I really don't know. So I was like, God, he's like, you have to learn how to know where your money's going. Yeah. And it's not the sake of, and God was not talking about, because I've seen some saints do this, scratching every penny and every crumb of cheese that's in the package you pull out to make sure nothing is lost, because I want to be a good. He's not talking about the extreme stuff. He's just saying having a working knowledge that Waylon, you and your family eat out a lot because of your schedule and things you got going. So I have to factor into my budget my eating out. And I've been for years like, Lord, please help us not to eat out so much. And he's like, the only way you're not going to eat out so much is if you cook more at home. But Jesus, I don't like cooking. He said, I know. But if you want this to come down, you have to cook at home. Because Shell going to cook on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. She ain't cooking the rest of the week. So if you're going to want to eat out, you're going to have to cook at home.
Well, I tried to cook something that carry on for a couple of days.
It ain't going to, it don't matter.
But now it does because we don't have an extra amount to feed no more. But things like Friday and Saturday happen where we're home and we're going to eat, or we could eat at home, and I just went back to work. So when I got home Friday afternoon, I went to sleep. Like, I'm tired. Like, I've been up early, up late. This is ridiculous. Then when I woke up, I was like, oh, we gotta go get something to eat. And then I was like, oh, there's a TV's on sale because somebody needs a TV. So I was like, oh, TV. So I'm gonna go get these TVs real quick. And I'm doing this, and all of a sudden somebody called, where y'all at? So now we're going out to eat with friends and doing whatever. And at the table, and the lady's like, how many checks? And my hand go up, 1. I'm like, why did I do that? I'm like, God, why do you do that? And God's like, 1 check. It's like, what? 1 check? All right, 1 check. I was like, this must be my weekend to sow. It's like, okay. Or my day to sow. All right, God, whatever. And we kept it moving. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm going to be able to sleep late Saturday morning because the baby girl now at home, what she get up in the morning, she wants her TV remote. She got her remote, goes to her room, lay in her bed and watch TV. Saturday morning cartoons on TV. I'm like, thank you. She's finally catching it. And so I'm trying to sleep. My wife called. Babe, so-and-so and so-and-so happened. Now I got to spring into action and go help. And it's that kind of stuff. So it's been a tremendous, busy weekend. But God still yet has been good. But I want you to understand, it's like having the knowledge of what it takes to run something. How much does it cost to run my household? How much does it cost to do this and do that? Because as you start to know what it is, then when you're like, I need to save more money, you begin looking for places, and the Holy Spirit begin to open your eyes to places how you can save and then make more. And I always tell the story of when God was talking about finances and getting things in order. One of the things he did was I had just renewed my car insurance. And he said, go get a car insurance quote. I'm like, I don't need a car insurance quote. Get a car insurance quote. I'm like, all right. And I went and I was looking, just sitting at home on a random Wednesday. And I was doing that. And all of a sudden, they quoted me a price that was $100 per month cheaper than what I was currently paying. Same collision, liability, all the same metrics, nothing changed. It's just a different company. And I called him and say, hey, I'm online looking at this. Is this accurate? And he's like, what's the reference number? And I gave him a reference number. He's like, yes. And we can, she was like, yes, and we can do this and do that. And you don't worry about calling your insurance company. We will call them and tell them what's going on and everything else. When do you want this to take place? It's like, yes, when you want this to happen? It's like, we can do it now. It's like, okay, it'll be $100 transfer now. That'll be your first month's payment. And then with your next payment will be this amount. And they canceled my other insurance. And then within 2 weeks, I got a check in the mail because I'd already made a payment. I got a check in the mail for that. And all of a sudden, God's like, okay, I just saved you $1,200. I was like, $1,200? He's like, I saved you $100 per month. That's $1,200 for the year. And I went, oh. He's like, this is how things can work. I don't just put money in your hand, but I have the ability to bring down your debt. It's like, oh, okay. Like somebody told us yesterday, they was like, I've been with State Farm 18 years, and I was like, I know you paying out the wazoo.
Could be.
You're paying out the wazoo, or either, because you got that one vehicle, you might be good. But it's just, you look for the spaces to find. I started couponing Because at the time we didn't have really.
No, we was on struggle bus.
We was on the struggle bus.
We was on struggle bus.
And I learned how to coupon, and I'm still couponing. I was like, I don't want to pay the whole. I don't want to pay all the amount for the. I like seeing. I had went to CVS. I had $140 worth of stuff. I paid $54, and I got back $20. So I paid $30 for a whole bunch of stuff. And the lady was looking at me at the register. She was like, "What did you just do?" I was like, "You the one pissed off the you the one kicked off all the coupon." But just like with Target, I was like, okay, Target was giving you $15 back to get $50 worth of groceries.
Oh yeah, that also because I also used my teacher discount for Target because teachers were getting teachers were getting 20% off store wide, and so I don't know. I just it came up on the app. My friends at my coworkers like, oh, Target was giving 20%. 20%. It's like, yeah, you got the app. I said, yes, I do. I pull up my app. It's like, oh, okay, I see. I put my information in, and because I had already did my back to school shopping. I already did that stuff, so I was like, okay. I was like, well, tax-free weekend is coming up. Sales got to happen, and I just, like I said, I was thinking about, ooh, I need to get a TV, and they have one for like $160. It's like, oh, my 20% discount and tax, whatever. Oh, that's gonna be a good price. And all of a sudden, it was get one for so and so too. Like, all right. And so I made my moves, but what I want to say is, you're able to make the move because you have the extra. Right. And that's the thing of not always feeling like if I got an extra $20, I gotta go spend it. I gotta eat it, gotta spend it, gotta do something with it. It's learning to say, okay, this is my standard, this is my level, and you get to a place where you become you feel uncomfortable. Like my granddad used to say, if I don't got a couple $100 in my pocket, I just feel broke. If I get down to 500, I'm broke. Like, wait, you get down to 500 and you broke? I was like, okay. But it's getting to a place where you're used to, okay, having a certain amount. But also, it's trusting God that if the account goes down, that's just for the moment. Mm-hmm. It's going to go back up quickly because I'm trusting God, not trusting my own strength and my own stuff. And that is a walk with Him. And it's a walk with Him in other areas. Just to make certain that you're with Him, walking with Him in a way, and it's an everyday thing.
Mm-hmm. And I found out, I was listening, and Kristen used to do it too. She used to pay her car payment every 2 weeks. And some people say, that's stupid for doing it, but you're killing the principle. And you're killing it really fast, and you're able to pay the car off months in advance.
Yes. And
even with a house,
just paying your payment, mortgage or car payment every 2 weeks, you kill it faster because you're also showing, and it boosts your credit as well.
Yeah, because I know with cars, it's just like how the loans that I do at my job, they're simple interest loans, meaning it accrues interest every day. When you get to the end of the month, you have 30 days of interest. Therefore, only maybe. Okay, let's say your payment is like how my car payment is $516. If you only pay that $516 at the end of the month, you only put maybe about $33, $34 on the principal because all the rest of that is the daily fees. But if you split it in 2 weeks, more of what you would
Yeah, more privilege gets on it, but also it's learning because see, you said that, and I've known people who go, "Oh, my payment is just this," and I'm like, "Oh," and it hurts my heart because I am old school. Now I'm dating myself. My Passat payment was like $335, and I thought that was high. I was like, "Ooh, let me hurry to pay this off," because for me, I come from an era where I remember this is gonna really date me. I remember where No, I'm saying, as a kid, I remember when gas was 79, 89, 99 cents. Like, I remember, I was a little kid, but I remember you gave somebody $5 for gas, that tank was like almost, that was like half a tank. Like, they were like, thank you, appreciate it. You go give me $2. Everybody give me $2. Give me $5. You did that. The person who's driving, you can ride for like 2 weeks off of that. But now, like, you know, go slow down. Like, let me get 5 on 3. It hurts.
You don't get
You
around
go.
no gas.
Did the needle move at all?
No.
Your light's still on. Like it's
so
a
mad
very
yesterday.
different day. Oh my gosh, you got mad. Oh, I'm mad with you. I want her to trade her car.
No, I don't.
And this is the reason why. And the only reason why I'm like, oh no, I gotta do this every week. Gas in her car because her tank is really big. Tank is larger. Plus she's driving a Cube 7, so it's a big gas vessel. It's like it was $95.13 to fill up her car.
I got mad. I was like, I'm just, if it go beyond it, I clicked it and I just say, put it up. So I ain't putting no more.
My heart hurts.
I'm not putting no more in here.
They put gas in her
But
car.
y'all go get the cars that take all the premium gas.
But
No.
what happened was, okay, he drove my truck yesterday.
It's not no way.
And it was like right at half a tank, so he should have went ahead and put some gas in my vehicle.
It still would have been.
It's still been $71, but it been less than 20.
Yeah. And
less than 95.
I am hoping.
My upside, I don't play that.
And that's another thing. Using the app, Get Upside. I think I'm up to like $600 of money that I have gotten back from getting gas over the course of like 3-4 years. And so there's things we do, but then I'm like, oh, you know what, Lord, you gotta help me get to a better gas app, or you know, do something with her gas. Like let it stretch and go further than what it is. Because she's constantly riding though. Like she's going to Blythewood at least once or twice a week. She's doing this stuff, and then school's getting ready to come back, so she's gonna be taking kids to school, and this like she does a lot.
Yeah.
So
I had to go east over 2 times. I'm like,
unnecessary.
Okay.
Unnecessary. But I'm not gonna fuss about that. But it's where like, oh my Jesus, and he's like, but you have it to handle it. It's like, yeah, but I want to do something better with this. So that's that. But with finances, one of the first thing I always tell people, since we've been talking about money finances for a few minutes, I want to get off that because I don't like talking about money like that. And we know people keep asking us to do more stuff with money and finances.
Mm-hmm. Or couples.
Yeah, that too. But here's the thing. The one thing you want to do is, a lot of times we say, well, these are all my bills. I don't like just looking at bills. I like going to my bank, and the banks that I have, they have the apps, the features where you can organize all of your swipes on your debit cards. Bank of America has a analysis feature, expense analysis feature, where like a portfolio where I can tie in all of my credit cards, all of my accounts, any account that's generating money or funds or whatever, from mortgages to credit cards, insurance policies, assets that we have, cars and car payments. I have like 3 that I kind of use. I'm kind of playing with 3 or 2 of them. But Bank of America has the app or whatever, and it shows me everything's itemized because I've attached my card to it. And what it does is it gives me a expense analysis. All of Shelly's cards that I know about are on there as well. I only say I know about because I'm trusting she's giving me all her information. There's nothing new. But with Wise, Craig, you know how it is. You just never know. You never really know. But all the things that the house is responsible for paying for, I have. And so all of them are linked up. And so I'm able to see where money is going. So I know every transaction. Now, unless it's a cash transaction, I see, because she gets cash sometimes at work, so I don't know. Like I said, you got to trust that your people are doing right by you. I see where it's going. And just that by itself, I get to see, ooh, Waylon's been eating at Five Guys, so let me cut back on Five Guys. I've been going to Chick-fil-A, let me cut back on Chick-fil-A. Restaurants and dining. For the past 2 months, it's been $1,000. Like, ooh, like what were we doing? And it's like, oh yeah, we was out of town. We was on the cruise, and you got to eat breakfast, and everything is a swipe on the card because nobody's giving you stuff on the cruise. You're getting free food. So going to and coming back from, you got to eat. That's 6-7 hour drive. Like, okay, that was that. That was no expenses. This was this. But I'm tracking over the course of the year. I'm going, okay, how do we cut back? Waylon got to cook. So now Waylon goes home and like, all right, let me look up some stuff on the apps and see what I want to cook. And then I'm cooking meals and then buying groceries. So I'm looking at my groceries, my totals, and my groceries like, oh, it went up $100, but my expenses of eating out went down to like $750. Okay, that's $150 difference. I'll take that. We're making some grounds and we're doing some things differently. And it's just navigating and managing. Plus knowing the different times of seasons, that at certain times of the year, things are going to be more expensive. And that's why I'm so grateful and thankful that teachers got a decent pay increase, pay bonus, pay raise, because it's needed. Because like, well, we got to catch up to inflation. And I'm like, okay, God, where's that money going to go? How can I save and invest and do different things? Because stuff happens. Your father, tree fell on my house. It's $800. Wasn't really a tree, was just, thank God, it was just a limb. And we had to pay somebody to go get it off. That was $800. And she was like, well, I got this already on this car. Okay, then great. I was like, the house can give you 4 on that. Give you half of it. So, because we had it in a savings investment account, I could just take 3 days for the transfer, but you'll get it back. And it's those kind of things where I say, when something happens, you can quickly say, okay, well, I got this, you got this, we can do this, versus now we got to go pray and seek the Lord and fast and pray and go, God, I beseech thee, therefore, that you will be merciful to this your servant, and open up my eyes and understanding to figure out how we're going to pay this bill.
Yeah. And see, also, if you working 2 jobs and you still can't make ends meet, you need to really sit down and budget. You need to find out where your money's going.
Right. And I want to say this, and if you find yourself in that situation, don't be discouraged. Take heart. Keep walking with God. He's going to pull you out. Yeah. I'm a witness. He will pull you out. He will open up your understanding. He'll make things work together in your favor. I personally believe the reason why the $2,800 increase the state gave to teachers happened was because of me. And I'm not to say that other people were not praying and believing God for an increase as well, but I'm like, God, you got to do something, because I don't have the kind of job where I just get increased because I'm doing a great, wonderful job, and the boss says, you've been doing a great job, I'm gonna give you a $5 raise, $5 per hour raise. For us, it don't happen like that. We're in a pay scale. So I'm like, God, I know you're gonna make something happen, and you're gonna make all grace abound toward us and cause me to increase to whereas I'm going to get paid a better wage for doing the same job. It's not more work, it's getting rewarded for the work that you're doing and people starting to acknowledge your value. And that's another thing of not letting the enemy rob and steal from us and saying, okay, if this has inconvenienced me, then God, I'm believing you to make the enemy restore to me and pay me for my time and my inconvenience and my emotional stress for having to do all this stuff. Because I didn't know that was a thing, that you could sue somebody for emotional damage and get millions of dollars. So that's a key thing. And is the other biggest thing I always tell people is when it comes to your money, be totally honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself about how your money's running. And own it. It is what it is. I spent too much money on electronics. I got electronic stuff that I do not need. I got maybe, I've come to realize over the course of years, I have about eight HDMI cords. And I'm like, why am I going? I better not ever buy another one. I got the long one, I got the short one, I got the medium sized ones, and they're just places. Because in my head I'm going, let me get this TV, let me buy another cord. Let me buy this TV, get a cord. And then all of a sudden cords are coming with the TVs now. So I'm like, I don't gotta buy nothing. Now I can like, y'all need a cord? You go cord. You need a cord? You go a cord. I got stuff for days. And so that's where I'm like, let me stop splurging on technology, because I saw this thing called the Remarkable Notebook. And all it is something that you can write, take the little stylus and write with like paper, because I like writing with paper. And I was gonna buy, it's like $300. And I was just like, ooh, this is nice. How much, like if it's $150, I'm gonna get it. And it's $300. I'm like, I still might get it. And the Lord's like, you already got a tab that does that. You got 2. You don't need another one. I was like, what I got? He's like, you got this this tab 7 and you got an iPad. They both do that. I was like, oh yeah, they do got apps that do that. Say, and you got a phone that you can say, you don't need another nothing. And I heard him in my mama voice. You don't need another nothing. I still want to go get it though, and it just did better. So I haven't bought it. Bought a TV instead, so it's what it is.
But you brought the TV because you're giving it away or something.
Right.
But
I got an extra one for the room.
Just like you say, we'll say we don't got nothing to wear, and you go in your closet, you can pick out outfits from years ago, and you wear it, and it's like everybody looking like it's brand new. Yeah, because I brought it on the board one time.
Or it's been so many years since you worn it.
Mm-hmm. And it still look brand new.
Nobody remembers seeing you with it.
Yeah, so it's like the woman of God that we a couple of weeks ago, she was talking about get your finances in order because the world is beginning to change. And she was talking about BRICS. And BRICS are the countries that have, band together to say that the US dollar have no value.
No, it's not. I wish people would not look at media. It's not just that. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. They have come together to say we are going to do business with each other, and we're going to use a certain currency, a different currency other than the American dollar, to do our transactions, and it's causing people to be upset. What I've learned also is the term BRICS came from an American CEO of either, not Lehman Brothers, either it's the guy that's over Vanguard, or he's over a major company in the United States. It's a major investment company, and he termed,
JP Morgan?
I think JP Morgan, either JP Morgan or one of those rivals. He coined the phrase years ago. Yeah, because they said, so people who make money all the time look at the landscape of things and say, we can't, we have exhausted all of the assets in this area to do this thing over here. Like, it's running great, it's making money, but greed is greed, and you can never have enough. So it's like, what can we do next? And he said, the only way you're going to be able to do something new and make new money and get new streams of income coming in is if some country or someone has to do like a term of BRICS, and other countries come together and stop using the American dollar and then start doing something else. And if they do that, when we see that happening, we can invest in that, and then we can start to do the same thing we did here. We're gonna do it over here and then make money that way. It's very much like, oh, we've exhausted all the ways to make money in West Columbia, Lexington, Sand Hills area. Now let's come to the Southeast Columbia area and buy up all the land over there and put a bunch of stuff over here. And when they start making the moves, companies said, oh, they're building houses over there. There were how many users coming in to the Southeast Columbia side? Oh, so now you got a coffee spot every 5 minutes. Every couple of blocks. Oil change and car washes. Because so what? Right. Cheap, easy places, and then all of a sudden you get a run on your Dollar Generals, and you get a run on your Family Dollars and your Dollar Trees on this side of town, because now they've realized just a matter of time, couple of years, it's going to be popping over here, and we're going to already be here. That's what they do. So BRICS is another of that. The implications of it goes tremendous for those people who go, oh my God, Russia's doing something different with other countries. We can't let that happen. And it's like, but you do realize, Russia has always been doing business with other countries, including the United States, when it comes to their grains and their potatoes and certain resources that they do with their oil. One of the reasons the issue with Ukraine is because of oil. And so when you start looking at what countries produce, and then you start seeing the conflicts and why prices of things go up, like when eggs went up astronomically high because some plant caught fire, and you're like, wait, one plant caught fire is costing us this much in eggs? Like, what's going on? And you're beginning to realize it's not just that. And when the pandemic hit, it exposed that the United States as a country, for the most part, we don't make anything. or we make very little things nowadays, and everything is shipped out. And we realize that, oh, we can't get PPP products. I mean, PPE equipment, because they're made over in China and Korea and other places, in India and all these or whatever. Well, how long can it take for us to get these things started over here? Oh, six to 8 months. Let's get it going. Or 6 to 8 weeks or whatever, 2 or 3 months. And they were able to, in some places, shift what they were manufacturing to start making certain things, which means we have the capability, but we don't want to pay union fees. We don't want to pay people $25, $30 an hour, where we can pay people $5. Where a pair of Jordans goes for, not nowadays, a pair of Nikes goes for $160, $200 when it costs them $7 to make. What kind of profit is that? Like, that's astronomical. But here's the thing:
300%.
You raise up the how much can we charge for this before people say, nah, that's too much? 200 and they still buy it? Okay, then we're gonna cap it at 200, and they start doing that, and you become acclimated to buying these shoes, because it had been a while since I bought shoes, because they got to the point where, like, I can't afford them that expensive. So everything I caught was on the sale. So then you had your Finish Lines and your shoe stores that got shoes kind of old year models. Everyone wanted the fresh 20 or the new 8s or the new 10s, whatever's coming out. So then they would get like the old Jordans and the old Nikes and the old Reeboks and sell them in their store at a discounted rate. People were getting those, and then companies said, we got to get rid of those extra stores because they're taking money from us. So then they got rid of those stores. So now you can only go to a Foot Locker or a Champs and get your shoes, whatever, because they're trying to corner markets, and that is the move. It's like when you play Monopoly. Y'all play Monopoly, right?
I love it.
And you play Monopoly, and you get to the place whereas the stuff that when people come to your spot and land on your stuff, you're on Park Place or my favorite, I would get like Baltic Avenue, little cheap ones, and put hotels on them. So you getting your $200 pass and go, but you got to pay me $400. Like, I love that, because I take the cheap spot, I got it on the cheap, and I just build it up. All of a sudden, here comes all my money. Wait, you almost broke. I ain't broke. My money is in assets. I don't got no liquidity. And all of a sudden, boom, the world is pushing economies to this now. And so now what I could, and sadly, Elizabeth Warren, when she was running for presidency, she said it. She said, my mom could go to Sears, get a job as secretary, pay the mortgage, buy grocery, pay the car payment, pay the insurance, send kids to school, and we were okay because one person in the house had a low skill wage job that paid enough money to handle the bills in the house.
But that comes to,
you can't do that nowadays.
Renewing your mind to. A lot of people come to church and they want a feel good message, and they want you to, I'm telling you, kick your heels 3 times, run around the building 7 times, and you're gonna fall out. And when you find out, when you fall out, then you're gonna, go up into the spirit, and God is gonna come down and tabernacle with you. He's gonna guide you the right way. No,
I love that.
You love that, but it ain't reality, because when you go back home and you haven't done the budget, or you don't know really where your money's going, or how to skillfully go about getting stuff done without being problematic in my life.
Yes.
I need to have wisdom as well as running around. Ain't nothing wrong with it, but I'm saying, when you sit down, can you really have a clear mind to look at things and hear the Holy Spirit? See, most of us, we only hear the Holy Spirit through our pastor's voice. We don't hear the Holy Spirit because we communicate with him effectively. Because all we want is, you were saying, you can always tell me what the problem is, but if you never give me the answer to the problem,
I can't get a solution.
I'm gonna keep circling around. When we were in the world, when we first got saved, and it's anniversaries in your life that happen. Like every time you fell into sexual sin, it'll be a certain month, a certain time, and maybe that certain person. And you would never be able to break that cycle. And you were saying, I'm tired of that same cycle keep coming around, and you don't realize is pointers in the spirit that's telling you it's coming. So you need to find out, I need to move to a new location. I need to delete that person's number and not be in that location, and not and pray and ask the Lord to help me to overcome that, because I no longer want to be a fornicator. I really want to be in a position where the Lord can send my mate to my way. But I keep falling back in that same little trap. And sex traps, it disrupts your destiny. It pushes you back years or months, because the promise was right there, and because I'm tired of waiting on the promise. And here he come. Oh, he looking good. Look, he got on them nice fitting jeans, smelling good. His hair looking nice.
Look like new money.
Yeah, he look like new money.
Fresh $5.
And he whispered in my ear, and ooh,
still ain't working.
you know. And this joker, he get you pregnant. He gonna deny you and the baby.
Don't talk bad about the brothers.
You know they deny you and the baby, and now you're stuck saying, why nobody want me? And this baby, it ain't that they don't want you. It's
available.
like you don't know what your value is.
But you're not available.
But
you got somebody.
But I'm saying, but you're thinking he was the end all be all, and he's not. And just like that, they saying, okay, this bottle of water. If I go to the grocery store, I can buy a whole pack of water for 24 bottles of water for $3.98. So that's like 60, 50 cents, maybe 30 cents a bottle. If I go on the airplane and I get the same bottle of water, how much I'm gonna pay for that on the airplane?
$10.
Okay. If I go on the cruise and I want bottled water, how much I'm gonna pay? $4. If I go to a restaurant,
baseball game, football
and
game,
I want to eat, I'm gonna pay $67. It's the same bottle of water, but it's where you got it from, how much the value.
There's the upcharge on it. So the same thing is valued different places. The same thing is valued differently in different places. And that's where you have to find the place where you fit, so that you can have your true value. What I want to also say though is, and this is where families, we gotta think differently now, because the way the world has shifted, they're like, inflation is coming down, but okay, they take it sky high. If it was supposed to be $1.50 for a loaf of bread, they take it sky high to $3-4. Then they bring it back down to $2. What have they done? They've reset the market. You used to have to get it. You used to get it for $1.50. Now you got to pay $2. But because you were paying $3.50 for it, when it comes down to $2, thank you Jesus, it's only $2. And so they reset the market. They do that constantly, because they've reset the market on so many things. I'll use real estate and housing as one of them. Because they've gone, and these corporates have gone and they bought all these assets, they bought all this property and stuff, they've reset the market. So now a 2,000 square foot house that would have cost you 150, maybe 200K back in the day, is now 350, 375 for the same little small house. Because so many people have the Airbnbs. Well, now people are like, well, I don't do what you do. So there's a market issue. And many people go, I can't afford it yet. I'm gonna chill at the house. I can't afford it. I'm gonna chill at the house. So the reason why student loans is an issue, the reason why all of these economic things and interest rates are issues, is because as they raise interest rate, the prices of things go up. So they're saying so that, and when they talk about the market crashing and all of this stuff, It's really dealing with companies and corporations who are going to make certain moves if things get to a certain price point. If to protect the bottom line, I need to bring home, I need to net, after my expenses and bills are paid, I need to net $5.6 million a month in revenue and in revenue. So a company says, to protect that bottom line, because I got an investor got to pay, to protect that bottom line and make sure we're good, if it means we got to lay people off, government, we will lay folk off. And the government goes, we can't afford to have people laid off, because then the burden to take care of them laid off people is on us. So we're going to listen to them and move this needle of inflation or this interest rate to a certain thing, so that they can charge what they need, what they feel they need to charge to get their profits and make sure their profit margins are good, so that they don't lay folk off. So they're playing this hostage game with companies, corporations. Anybody in economics? No, I'm talking real. So therefore, we feel the pinch. So when everything is going bad, and this is one thing that they learned from the pandemic, why are the Lakers getting a PPP loan for X amount of $100 million? Y'all don't need that money. And then we're going to give it back. They really didn't want to give that money back. All these other companies didn't want to give that money back. The government's giving out free money, because sadly, our government and most governments of the world are not backed by anything other than air. And their computer algorithm that says, you want $5 million in your account? $5 million in your account by first thing in the morning. They made the money up. What people are afraid of with BRICS is the fact that South Africa goes, we have the resources to back our money by resources. So now their money, if they do it the way they could do it, and not just create money out of air, but back it based off of minerals and resources and gold and diamonds and cocoa and chocolate and all this other stuff, then all of a sudden now Africa becomes the major player financially, and all of the other countries, China included, China, Russia, Britain, US, everybody, the Vatican, because never mind, talk about them later, they become non-factors in the whole thing, because they don't have the kind of assets and wealth that Africa holds. And for so many centuries, Europe and United States have colonized Africa and done them this service. So now Africa's like, why are we doing business with y'all and y'all raping us? Anybody want to do? Because this is what we're now looking to do. Over the course of centuries and years, Africans have come to the United States to get what? Educated. And they do this thing of getting educated and then going back home with their education and saying, this is what I've learned about the system, and this is how we fix our problems. So when God also has turned his attention to Africa, say, okay, I'm now looking at Africa for the next however many years, people get nervous because, oh no, what are we gonna do? Because all of today's music is coming out of Africa. All of the new sounds coming out of Africa.
Dances, everything.
Dances, music, all this stuff. Now Africans are coming to the U.S. going on tours, and now NBA All-Star Weekend, those were African artists. Couldn't hardly understand what they were saying, but those are African artists. No, I'm just saying, because the accents and so it's different. And there are these influencers and YouTubers, so now we don't have a run on the talent. Then cope that with, now in the United States, there's a strike. And all of this is tied. If you think it's not tied together to economic things like that, it's tied, because for the actors and the writers and the people behind the scenes in production, they're like, when these shows stream, they're not making any money from them. And music artists can't make it. Ain't nobody buying albums anymore. When's the last time you bought a CD?
They make CDs still?
In my case in point, exactly. They make CDs still. You go into a department store, again, back in the day, we had record stores. You had the stores that were geared toward, all we do was sell music. And you can come and buy the CD, whatever. Then they went to MP3 CDs, and you can put 8 albums on one CD. Loved it. Then you can put 100 million albums on the flash drive. Loved it. Then all of a sudden, just download it on your phone, and your phone works through your car. And they have wiped out record stores. Department stores don't carry a record section anymore. There's no CD section anymore. So now you just download a song. And now with social media, it ain't even about the whole song. We just get a clip, and it goes viral. But they not making money from it.
Yeah. And Sirius about to drive me crazy. Sirius Radio.
Because they won't. Because
Why
that's.
do I get a prescription with y'all when I can just plug my phone in?
So satellite radio is about to be again. They're trying to get these subscriptions and things like that because that's how they're making their money. So now artists can't get paid what they used to get paid because there's no way to track the streams. And that's why Spotify back in the day, people were like, "Oh, we're gonna boycott Spotify." And what was her name? The little white girl. The little white girl. No, the other one.
JoJo C.
No, the she's older than what she looks. She's older than what she is.
Katy Perry.
No, not Katy Perry. Oh.
It's your girl, Ariana Grande.
No, y'all might have said her name earlier. I'm about to
Taylor Swift.
What?
Taylor Swift. Yeah, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift. Yeah, okay. Yeah, said it earlier. I'm sorry, Taylor Swift. She's probably older than what she's projected to. They did a whole show about this white woman who pretended to be a young white woman. Even though she was an old 40-year-old mom, she pretended to be like a 20-something-year-old girl, and in this business, in this book publishing business, and that kind of stuff. And it was a take off of what people propose Taylor Swift is. Like, she's probably really older than what she is, but she's appealing to the younger crowd. She's making us money. Anyway, she boycotted Spotify because Spotify was only giving you like 79 cents per stream of your song. And so you're not making the money. Whereas back in the day, if you got a lot of radio play, you got money per. And if you got album sales, you got money per unit that was sold. There's no way to really track that. So they were not making the money. So people were like going broke. So artists were going broke and being even broker than what they really were because of that. In TV media, it's the same thing. So when like Dave Chappelle sued Netflix, well, and he said, boycott me on Netflix, don't stream my show, because the TV company sold my all of my seasons to Netflix. They're making money off the wazoo because the Chappelle show on Netflix is like #1, and he's getting no money from that. So he's like, don't watch my show. And everything, all the streams went down on the Chappelle show, and then they cut him in on the deal because for him to say, okay, thank you, we made a deal, y'all can go back to stream the Chappelle show. And that's basically what it was. He had to fight to get paid for the stuff he had produced because the company owned it and was making money off of him, and he's not getting his share. And it's that kind of stuff that they're now boycotting, because what's happening, and we've been saying this for years, the idea is to have a permanent poor class. And it's not just based on skin color, it's based on economics. And that's the algorithm. Either you're incredibly rich or you are incredibly poor. There is no more middle class or anything.
But then you have these young children getting out of high school and college.
Don't know nothing.
And they think they're gonna get on a job making $20 an hour.
Oh no.
And they say, I can't work for nobody if it ain't a $20. And I was like, baby, I ain't made $20 an hour till I got almost grown. I said, so I don't understand how you don't got no skills, no experience, and you gonna walk on off the street on somebody's job, and they gonna pay you $20 an hour, and you probably ain't even gonna show up 2 days out the week because you felt like I ain't coming.
But here's the other part to it. And when they say the youth of the day, they're built different, they are built different.
They are.
And while they will tout,
but that's because parents ain't been parents either.
It's not just that. Even with good parents, what as an educator, what many students are missing is that thing of tenacity and here's a hurdle, I'm going to cross it anyway. I'm going to be creative and use my brain and get help on how to overcome obstacles, how to problem solve, how to get past stuff, how to take something and make it into something else. The idea of y'all go outside and play and they not give us nothing to play with bred in us this idea of entertain yourself, create a game, do something, find something that you can do to have fun with that don't get you beat at the end of the day. It's that kind of thing that helps us when you go to a job. This is what you do. You go on your job, you work hard, you learn what the rules are, you learn what you're supposed to do, you be early to your job, you stay late if they say stay late, you show your work. If you don't like the job, then while you're on that job, you be asking about other jobs and you apply to other jobs while you're working. You don't just quit and then come home and do nothing. There was a sense of, you don't just leave because you felt like leaving. You don't just cuss folk out and leave because you didn't like how they talked to you this day. You didn't do that. There was because again, you got family to take care of. You got bills you got to pay. And ain't nobody going to take care of you but you. You're grown now. Nowadays, they're thinking my mental, emotional health and this. And I don't like how you talk to me. And you this and this. And you're gaslighting me. And you're this and this and this. And so they just leave. Like, oh, they just leave. And then they become a burden to someone else while they figure out what they want to do. And to make it a biblical thing, it's the parable of the talents all over again. It's the one that had the one talent, took his talent, digging in the dirt, and then now he's a burden because he ain't got nothing. Where you gonna stay? What you gonna eat? Where you gonna work? So now he's got to depend on the other two who got stuff to take care of him because he decided to be fearful and hide his stuff because you felt some kind of way. And it's not a diss to millennials because some of the things about mental health is real. Some of the stuff that we endured when we were kids growing up, that's real. The mental health of how you gonna eat and you outside and it's hot outside, it's whatever, you had to learn and figure out how to survive. So I'm part of the Generation X. You don't mess with us. We fight. We fight for real. Like, we fight. So it's really a thing. But when you go to a company, a corporation that's, watch this, run by Generation X, what you're not going to do is come on here talking about what I'm going to get. You're going to take this $15 an hour starting off, and if you prove yourself, this is what you can get. This is how you move up. You're here to do this. If you want to learn something else, after you get off work, we have some courses. You can learn forklift. Or on your lunch break, you can get with somebody that'll teach you forklifting, and we'll take you in the back, and we'll start training you for forklift. And once you pass the test, you get a certification. Then, if we got position open for forklift drivers, you can get that. It pays $18 an hour. And then you keep learning certifications to make yourself valuable so you can move up. What kids go is, a lot of people go is, I can go be a TikToker. Good luck with that. Go do what you do.
Because monetization, I can get me $1,000 a week or better, and I don't really have to go to the job, and I can wake up when I want to.
So now, and so with millennials and those slightly above them, it became popular to make money off of no skills.
Or YouTube channel.
You can have no skills and make income just being with your phone, being silly, doing silly stuff. People will watch. And I'm going, this is stupid. I watch my goddaughter was watching girls eat seafood and crab legs. And it wasn't just one set. It was like a lot of them. And they took the mics, and one group of girls took mics, put them to their shirt, and just ate loudly with crab legs and just did stuff, and people sat and watched it. Kids were just posting on their social media them playing Fortnite, and all of a sudden somebody goes viral and becomes $2.5 million, and they're 16 years old. So now they don't have to work and out do nothing, and now you are, and it's one of the more detrimental things to society in the sense that you are rich and famous for doing nothing.
And that don't last forever.
And it doesn't last. And then watch this. And then the social media accounts goes, ooh, okay, now that we got everybody watching, we paid out too much money. We're gonna change the algorithm. We're gonna change how you make your money. Mm-hmm. So now you don't get what you get. So it prevents others from duplicating doing the same thing because they figured it out. Mm-hmm. We can keep more money to ourselves in advertising, that kind of stuff, and because you're still going to watch, because now you're addicted, and this is more valuable to you than actual TV shows. So it becomes a thing. And now the world is going, and they ain't going to hell in a handbasket, but everything is missing, and you got folk who go, I don't got to work, and you got jobs available to work, I don't want to do that. And so they're not doing it, and then here comes AI.
Yeah.
And so AI is hit up here, and now AI is the kind of thing that goes, in 3 seconds, AI can take, if someone or calls you, and you say, hello, my name is so-and-so, so I got the wrong number, just that interaction, they record it. They can use AI to now record your voice and then make a phone call to your family and say, oh, we're stuck with this. Can you help me? I need some money. Send it to this, to this, to this. And it's already happened in the world, in the United States, where someone tried to trick someone into sending them $1 million, holding their daughter ransom, and the daughter didn't know anything about it, but they used their daughter's voice to make a phone call.
Wow.
AI is something fierce. And so AI is coming in, and people going, in the next 10 years, AI is going to have all these jobs on lock. So now the stuff that kids could do, kids who didn't do well, like, I'm going to go be a truck driver or whatever. I'm going to drive truck. The next 10 to 15 might not be able to do that because AI is going to have that on lock.
Yeah.
All they got to do is get the patents done and get the government to sanction and say it's okay. Well, the patents are done. Not Jeff Bezos. Tesla has already proven it that you can just, and my Tesla's driving. Now I'm sitting in my car eating Chinese food. Right. So, but here's the thing. Tesla has been having accidents since the inception of Tesla, probably since the mid 2010s to 2015. But when the accident happened, it wasn't because they were able to cover it. If the news media, if we pay you not to cover it or not to tell it, you can cover it, just don't tell it, then we cover it to go away. You don't know about it, then they come out, oh, I'm going to get one because they're incredibly safe. Yes, sir.
I was going to say, I can just attest that as a truck driver, it's going in that direction.
Yeah.
I can guarantee within the next 7 to 10 years, it is definitely going that direction.
Yeah, they're going to put their coordinates in, and they're going to
my company.
pull up.
Within the last 7
Yeah.
years.
But they still going to need somebody to unload the truck.
They're shifting. No. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. Watch what happens.
They're gonna find a new resource.
They're gonna find a way to automate it. I promise you, because they already have McDonald's that there's nobody in there working. You just go with the app and everything's automated. There may be one person in there just to make sure stuff is stopped and working right. Yes, sir, Mr. Lewis.
You can't put it all on the tube. Now, the last 15 years I was talking to our working parents. It amazed me how crazy the parents is. You do not tell a child he don't have to work.
Oh yeah, no, you don't tell him
You
that.
don't tell him that.
I have never had my mom ever tell me that.
You drive by Little Richland, they cars newer than ours. Parents going to get leases for their child's car. Like, what happened to the little $1,000 hoopty, $500 hoopty we had? And when you get money, then you get you a nice car. These kids don't have to work for nothing.
No.
They don't cut the grass.
No.
They don't sweep the floor. They don't mop. They don't know. A grown man don't know how to mop the floor or sweep the floor. I want you to buy me a steamer to steam the floor, and you looking like, wait a minute. It's called a broom and a mop.
But also, so here's something y'all can look up on YouTube. Kev on Stage and his wife, where they did the My Future Wifey video podcast, and they were saying that they got into a straight up argument over their oldest son, who's not even to the age of driving yet, but that once he's ready to drive, Kev on Stage is like, yeah, I'm gonna get him like, something nice, get him like a Camry, Toyota Camry, something like that. And she was like, no, we're gonna get him a hoopty. We gonna get him a car that's the age of that's the year he was born. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be his starter car, and they're arguing over what to get their child because her thought process is with this car, he's going to have to learn how to maintenance a car. Right. He's got to learn what to do in the car, not just call AAA, but how to change tires, how to change his oil, how to take care of stuff. Because trust me, my first car was a Ford. It wasn't a Ford for real, but it was a fix or repair daily situation because I learned everything from alternators to spark plugs to housers to brake assembly, all kind of stuff, because stuff was breaking on our car for real. I learned carburetor, get your carburetor stuff and have stuff in there. It wasn't just change the oil, change the tire. It was, this is how you work on a car. You get the right kind of wrenches and stuff. But again, it taught me how to make this stuff work with my hands and do things to the point where when stuff goes wrong on my car, I am very selective of who I get to work on it and things like that. Certain things I can do myself. Shell came home and the other day and she was, the radio light came on and said, put some fluid in it and park it immediately. I was like, what? So she hopped in my car, drove off, because I was asleep. I was like, oh. So I got up and popped her trunk and looked and said, okay. Because I worked on cars, I know I cannot turn on and open that radiator cap. I'm getting ready to burn myself secondary burn. I went to the reservoir, took some water, poured water in it. I said, I'm gonna let that sit in for a little while, then I went and cranked the car up, and it was off. I said, okay. I had to go up the road later that evening. I went by the parts store, got some antifreeze, came back home. Her car was cold then. Wait till it got like 10 o'clock, it got cold. I popped that radiator, poured the stuff in. Like, all right. And I told her, I filled it up, you should be good to go. Hadn't been back on since. That for some people would have been $100 to get somebody to come look at the stuff and fix it.
Or some chick would have kept riding. Somebody
would have kept riding, would have tore up their stuff. Now you're paying hundreds of dollars, if not $1,000, for a new radiator.
Well, I ain't gonna let you tear up that vehicle because the alarm go off and it keep going off until you stop.
Until you shut it down.
And so I'm like, wow.
But these are things that you start to learn. Growing up the way we grew up, I can do minor plumbing repairs. I know how to disassemble a toilet and put it back together. I can work on the guts of a toilet. I can do simple floor repair if I need to. I don't like to, but I can. It's aggravating for me because I'm such a perfectionist till I waste more money trying to measure. Anyway, it's a thing for me. But I can do some stuff. I'm getting ready to paint in the next coming weeks because some paint need to be done. It's things that you're able to do on your own because you had to be out with other men who were working, doing stuff. And if you couldn't do it yourself, like, well, painting can't be too hard. Let me go to YouTube and see how this looks.
Yeah.
Or replacing this fixture can't be too hard. Let me see what this app, see what YouTube say. Do this, do this, do this. I can fix the ceiling fan, no problems. And then you turn the power off. Because I tell my students, I tell people, the same apps you're using for dumb stuff can show you anything. Just YouTube it. And then look at 4 or 5 videos and do they kind of say the same thing on the thing you're looking at? Okay. And then you determine, I think I can do that. If I'm not sure I can do it, then I'm calling an uncle. Hey, can you come by real quick and watch me do this? Because I want to make sure I do this right.
But families ain't what they used to be. We can call their uncle.
We
can, our generation, a lot of these other ones.
I get calls all the time from folks, from my nieces. They call me on the regular.
And a lot of people just don't want to work with their hands. Like, and even as a parent, our generation seem to have so much trauma. These kids in the classroom, I was like, baby, figure it out. They used to their parents get frustrated and say, oh, let me do it. No, I sit there and I let them figure it out.
Figure it out.
But that goes to Romans 12 and 2. The King James Version say one version, but this right here, the New Living Translation says, don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person.
Yes.
By changing the way you think.
Yeah.
Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good, pleasing, and perfect. So what it is that, okay, somebody, my coworker, he's always, I'll say something, he was like, what is that? I was like, Google it.
Google it, please.
I said, Google it. I say, stop asking, if you don't understand what somebody's saying, Google it. And I ain't being mean to him. I just was like, y'all don't go beyond the moment. The moment is like, okay, Like I was telling my niece, I said, you're very meticulous. I said, that gets on my nerves. And she was like, Auntie, that's a big word. I got a small vocabulary. I said, I'll put you. You don't go get your phone and say the word into your phone. And she was like, so you're saying I'm a perfectionist? I said, because meticulous means you're going to keep doing it until you get it down perfect. I said, well, it's different words in the vocabulary that y'all need to learn the difference between an anonym, a synonym, all these different things. Y'all in school and y'all ain't even getting a clue.
I can attest. It is taught in schools. Context clues, all of those things.
But they pick it up in music.
They pick it up in music, and that's the thing, and that's where you have to help them make connections. You talk like you understand what's the new thing is now. It used to be drip, but it's something else now. Riz or something like that, whatever.
Oh, Riz is different from drip. When you say Riz, that's like a pickup line.
Okay. Okay. So, but here's the thing.
BOOA. What's that? Boa. It's a drink or something.
Boba tea.
Oh, it's the water? You talking about the B?
That tea with the flex with the balls in it.
I have no idea. But here's what happens. Here's the thing that's been happening with our generations. We were the generation. I know with people I know. We could take something and learn it here or see it here and apply it across all spectrums. That makes you a problem solver. Our youth, they understand all the slang and stuff in the music, but they fail to apply it across all multiple streams. So when I tell my students, write out the way you do your math, write out your process doing your math, that's your history. And if you can track your math history, you can see where you went wrong. And I was like, does that apply in real life, right? They're like, no. I said, yes, it does. If you know your history, know what happened in the past, you can track to see where the disconnect is. And it can help you understand how you got to where you are now from what you did in the past. They have a failure of applying things in more than one genre. They'll do like in daycare, I used to see it all the time. We would have children wiping off tables, cleaning up, doing all kinds of stuff. In kindergarten, all that stuff. Parents will come in and go, they know how to do what? Yeah, they can sweep and vacuum and all kinds of. They're doing, they clean. We don't clean, they clean. I clean their room. I do this for them. I do that for them. I just say, no, we don't do that over here. And so because we know they are capable, you give them opportunity, you let them you monitor how they make their mistakes, help them correct the mistake, and they'll start doing stuff and moving fine. And then telling others, that's not how you do that. You don't do it that way. And they'll train others on how to do it. It is, we've babied them sometimes in an effort to give them everything that they want. All the things we didn't get growing up, we're not going to do our kids like that. I am of the mind of going back to some of that and like tell them, well, let go outside and play.
Let me just ask, since you're educated, okay, and you're saying context clues are still taught in schools?
Yes.
Okay, because I've talked with my nieces and nephews, and I'm sitting here like, they have failed y'all so bad. Because it's just simple things that they ask, and I'm like, yeah, y'all didn't learn this in school.
But that goes back to parenting too, because parenting, if you tell a child to do something and you don't give them the inner workings and the outer workings, and you don't make them do it till it's correct, they don't follow through because they're a child. And they're like, okay, my husband's cousin was laughing. She said, I told my daughter to go take the clothes out of the washing machine and put them in the dryer. That's all she did. I was like, if that had been us, a hole would have been bust through your back, because you take the clothes out of the washing machine, you gonna put them in the dryer. Are you not gonna cut them off?
But here's the other side of it. Gone are the days where you could, at one point in time, you could send your kids to school, and the school would do their best to ensure that your children learn, and that they could think and apply something to their learning. as generations have passed, I'm saying like this, there was a skill that teachers, during time of segregation and Jim Crow and all that kind of stuff, there was a skill that teachers had in identifying what a child was going to become or what they were aspiring to become later in life. And that they helped them see how everything they were learning was geared toward what you were going to do in life. Some kids was, you're going to be working with your daddy in the bricklaying business. So you need to be able to do this and this and this. And you got to learn this so you can be a well-rounded individual and talk to people, because one day you might own the company. So you got to learn public speaking. You got to learn these skills that will help you down the road. Our educators did more with less. And then once we got the more, and you got someone else in front of kids who did not always understand the culture of that child to help that child become who they were and blossom, to figure out who they are and what they wanted to do and become, it was just go to school, get your grades, and then for me, I think for you as well, it was go to college. You got to go to college and get a degree. Go to college. If you don't go to college and get a degree, then you got to go to the military or go get a plant job. It was one of those three. But you can't sit home and do nothing. My brother went to military. I'm like, I ain't going to military, because if I go to military and the first time somebody cuss at me, be fighting, it ain't gonna go well. They gonna kick me out. I'm going to college. And that's the road that I went. It took me longer to finish and graduate, but I did. And it's valuable for me. In today's world, because colleges are so expensive now, there's different issues. In our public system, because so many parents complain of, you are unjustly keeping my child back because my child this and my child's not dumb and da-da-da-da-da. You can't hold them back, and people sue, and because districts didn't do things by the intent letter of the law, then parents were suing, and districts have kind of decided, we gotta have parent permission and all this evidence and all this stuff to even retain a child. And then, hold on, it gets crazier. And then you got other people who have done studies in education who says even when you retain the child, it doesn't work in helping the child. And I'm like, no, because in most cases, retaining the child is because of, and if they're retained because of their behavior and lack of effort in learning, the retention is a consequence to an action. The child has to change the action so they can begin to not have the same consequence to the action. Because here's the thing, the child still didn't learn. Child still doesn't know. So are you going to push them to the next level and let them go to the next grade so they don't feel embarrassed, but they still don't know what they're supposed to know, so they are unskilled in what they're supposed to do. They may have had the introduction to it, they may have had the lessons, but they're unskilled in the application of knowledge. And if you are unskilled in applying your knowledge, then for educators, you don't know what you think you know. You're not qualified. I can read Spanish, and I do it every year with my students in class. The Friday, I was like, here's the Spanish version of the thing I need to take home to your parents. Who needs the Spanish version? I started reading it. Because in high school, I took 2 years of Spanish. In college, I took 2 more years of the same Spanish. Passed with A's, then A's and B's the entire time. I can read Spanish. I don't fully understand what I'm speaking. I said, so I read it. I was like, do y'all understand what I just read? The Hispanic kids said yes. Everyone else like, no. I was like, guess what? I don't understand what I just read either. They were like, but you read it. I was like, right. I said, in life, in reading, when you read something, either if you don't understand, comprehend what you read as you read it, all you're doing is calling out words. That's not true reading. And they went, oh. I was like, so if I teach you the math, but you cannot apply it over several different situations, you haven't really learned the math. This is what I need y'all to know. I want to teach you how to think, not what to think, but how to think.
But in our generation, my grandmother, when we stayed with our grandparents, you had to sit down and write your ABCs. You had to, you sung the ABC song. You counted. You did this stuff at home. Yeah,
right, that's
at home. Now my son,
that's the thing.
when my son was a younger child, he went to school and acted donkey, but he would read a dictionary. he read dictionary and learned different words. So talking with him, he was saying big words, and everybody looked at him like, "What are you talking about?" Because we're not understanding it. But he went outside.
He was reading at 3 years old.
Yeah, he went outside the box and thought for himself. But you got parents, they sit them in front of the TV and they let them watch. Monet was this morning, she was screaming and hollering, and I thought something was happening, and I'm running down to the other side. She on YouTube, that thing called Toka's World. Toka's World. It's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon kid.
It's a cartoon and it's an app on the phone. Had a boy on there with 2 girls talking about, I'm in an affair with 2 girls. And had him kissing a girl, but it's a cartoon, and she was like, ah, telling me they need a beating, and I'm like, and then she strolled down and showed me a pregnant woman in a pool, and I was like, okay, well, we're gonna talk to daddy, and we're gonna figure out how to take this stuff off the TV.
But the fact that she knew it was wrong shows that you parenting.
Yeah.
Her to screen.
Yeah.
She knows
You're
it's
gonna
wrong.
see stuff where you
No.
know my parents, they were very open-minded with stuff, but anything that we watched, they would sit down if I had a question or something, they would explain it to me. Parents, the kids be in their room watching whatever they want, and the parents be in their room. Ain't no talking about it. And then some parents do the same stuff, so it's like,
Right.
is it wrong?
Right.
Like,
So here's the other side to it. Let me go back from what I was saying. You could send your kids to school, and they would come back a little bit better than how you sent them, because the parents were like, you go to school, listen to the teacher, you respect what they say at school, and whatever the school said was the rule. If the teacher called and said you did thus and so, you are guilty of doing thus and so.
that was then, eh?
And that was bottom line. That was way back then. That is not today. Nowadays, parents you have to take extra time to help educate your kids at home. Because if you don't, they're not going to learn what they need to learn. Because schools are not in the business of the retention. So you're assuming because my baby's in 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade that they know what they know, and it's like, no, they don't know what they know.
But that's why they pushing that real world application. So when we teach now, they want you to help the child try to apply it to whatever. Like, so if I'm teaching addition and subtraction, I need to talk about going to the store and maybe set up a store so that they can apply the skill to a real world situation.
Right.
We did that when we was in elementary.
Right. But again,
But they're taking that out of school.
Well, you still want to go to the store and buy.
But they can't go on me. That your parents, like, you know,
But-
I
but-
tell the
but
parents,
here's
give them a
the-
list.
Right.
Help with reading, help them find the stuff. You can do it with money. When I took my nieces and nephews out, all y'all got $10. Whatever you get, it has to be in your budget. I'm not going over. I'm not helping with tax. We got $10. We went Dollar Tree. They were Five Below, whatever. As long as you was in your budget, I said, now look, you can either get this or you can go here. You can get these 2 things for they $2 a piece, but it's up to you. So I'm teaching them to apply real parents. That's the easiest thing in the
that's the
world.
easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
But now the other side of that is debit cards. Because so like for me, because I'm in middle school, I'm going, okay, how does this stuff work? And so we're talking in math class about how stuff works and how, okay, now you got $20 on your card, you go to the store, and then all of a sudden, because it's 6th grade, all right, here go a coupon. How much is it going to cost? And you afford it with the coupon. How much you're going to need? What can you get with your $20 and these 3 coupons? And they have to make choices, but that takes work and effort. And some kids, they don't really have an understanding of money because they don't go to the store with their parents. I'm telling stories about how my mother made me in the grocery store, like, keep tab of what I'm buying. Keep a tab. I'm gonna keep a tab. This is how much is this? Add it up. So I gotta keep a running tab in my head. I don't want to go over $100.
You know,
I am not your calculator.
Because he
But-
give us the mail and say, read this, now
Right.
read me. I said, dang, where that can't read? You just
My
trying to
mom
make
used
sure
to
we
give me a little
went
note. She used to give me a little notepad.
Right. Now my mom, she would do that. She'd go to the store. She had a little notepad. And one day she was like, oh man, I've got my notepad. Wait, no, this is this much. This is that much. Okay, how much is this? Well, that's $3 for $99. So that's $1. And I'm rounding, keeping my tab, and she's going. And I'm like, well, this is kind of cool. And then we get to the register. Well, how much? I was like, well, you at $98. And how many cents? I'm rounding everything.
That's it.
Well, you got to factor in tax. Tax should be factored in because I should be a little bit over, so you should be good. And we get to the register, and I was like 37 cents off, but it was just that. But because they put you in position to where you have to apply what you learn, and people would ask you what you learned in school today. I don't know. Oh no, sit down. Tell me something you learned in school
See,
today.
if you was asking your child that, you would know why they not passing. Some
Right.
of them wait till third, fourth quarter. What you mean my baby not gonna pass? I said, man, I've called them, left messages, changed the number 3 times. I want to help you. Baby.
You block emails. You not respond to emails. We called you for conferences, and nowadays it's on Meet. On Meet, it's virtual. So wherever you at, you can stay there. Just you got 10 minutes talk. This is what's going on. Let's talk real quick. No meet, and then kids get retained. And if the district and the school agrees to retain, because now they put retention, it counts against the school on their report card. See all this stuff of, we're gonna be transparent, this is really what it is.
Yeah.
If you allow educators to teach the way we have been trained to teach and raise kids up, that if you do not pass in the skill, you do not get to go to the next grade. That's going to mess up a lot of people's pride and their feelings. And then all of a sudden, you gotta be okay with admitting, I gotta do something different at home with my kid. Either they go to summer school and get the credit, or they repeat the grade, because I can't afford you to be out in the world being a nobody. I have a relative, he repeated, I was in 9th grade, 10th grade. He repeated a grade. It was the best thing for him, because he learned some lessons. Mama's not gonna pay me for me to go to summer school and take this class. So now I gotta repeat. And the person repeated, and they did what they had to do, but they learned hustle. So now this person works for himself. He don't work for nobody, and he gets up every morning. I get up at 6, and I go get my breakfast, and then I'm at work by this time, and I'm at work all day till this time, and they are so structured and disciplined in their routine and what they do. And it's wonderful. But what would have happened if the person's parent would have told them, oh, it's all right, I'm gonna take care of you, don't worry about it, I'll figure out a way, don't worry about it, I'll handle it. Because they would try to call their mama, I need this, and one day she was like, I can't help you, baby, you're on your own. And once she did that, and he finally got the ability to stand on his own 2 feet, his words, not mine. He was like, I think mama was cool with passing away, going to heaven, once she realized I could take care of myself. Like, I think mama stayed here this long because of me. And he cried like a baby. But he has not been in prison since. He ain't never been arrested. As far as I know, he ain't been arrested since. Ain't never called him by and say, can I get $1,200 because this is going on? He takes care of himself, because he finally got to the place where he's able to stand on his own 2 feet, think for himself, and function for himself. And these are the things that we have to also instill in our children. And then we got to also figure out, are you college-bound material? If your effort, because I had to tell my son that, I was like, you being in high school is telling me how you gonna do in college. If you don't do well in high school, I don't see investing in you for you to go to college. You can spend your money, but you're not gonna spend mine. Because it's an investment. And I ain't gonna say I was right, but it kind of things went the way they went. But at the end of the day, it's the thing where you gotta kind of talk to your kids. Say, okay, what are you doing? What's going to be your life? How are you going to get there? We'll help you, but we won't do it for you. You got to be the one, the captain running the ship on where you go. We support. And when I see that the expense is too much for me to invest, you got to figure it out a different way. And talk with them. But we didn't just talk once they got grown. At least I was talking all the way through. Yep. Like, this is what it's going to be. This is how life is going to be. This is what it is. And some of us have to admit that sometimes our children, because of how they think we don't know nothing.
They smarter.
They are the smartest person in the house. They know more than us because they go to school every day and they know what rap and music is telling them, so they know how the world really works. And I'm going, that's not going to fly in real life. That's not going to fly in real life. What you going to do about this? We're not going to be here always take care of you. And that's something that my mother kept telling me was, I ain't going to always be here to take care of you, bail you out. So you got to get it now. You got to figure it out now.
On your own.
What can I get? And that's what I learned. So at 18, watching my mother go get a loan for me to go to my first semester of school broke my heart. I was sitting in the seat like for an hour, almost in tears, crying like, God, you got to show me how to take care of school myself, because I can't have her doing this every semester. And that's when I got that scholarship. It was 3 weeks later, I got a scholarship. And ever since then, I paid my own way to school. My mother helped me get started because she believed in me. But the rest of it was me. But that's the thing we have to instill into our students. Speaking of which, Rehoboth Restoration Ministries next Saturday from 10 a.m.
August the 12th.
That's not next week? Oh.
Yeah,
That's next week. That's next Saturday. I don't know. Today's the 6th, yeah? See, next Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., Rehoboth Restoration Ministries, our wonderful friends of Apostle Louise, Overseer Richard, and Apostle Louise Rouse, they're doing a young adult conference. It's like a back to school young adult conference, the year of the breakout. I have the address here, is 5801 Coon Road in Columbia, South Carolina. They really are asking for the young adults to come out. They will have a young adult speaker to minister and that kind of thing. I think it is something that I want to take the fellas to, at least if I can grab them, and take them to it so they can kind of see some stuff. Because one of the things about us is that our children is that oftentimes they don't see other young people doing stuff. Like sometimes jealousy and watching somebody who's your age or younger do some great stuff, and you be sitting there looking like, man, I'm just smart as that person. They ain't smart than me. They doing all this stuff. Man, I'm stupid. Like I will see people doing stuff as a young person, and it would provoke me like, man, I need to get myself together. I can't let them out to me. But and in some cases also though, it gave me an idea of what I could do. Instead of hanging with my friends doing nothing, I could be out here doing something important. And so more than just, and there's another thing I want to do. There's a woman who has been doing economics with her children and talking about, owning cars and getting houses and that kind of stuff. I think her oldest boy is like a teenager, like 16, I think. They got another daughter and like 2 other ones. And they're all talking about credit and finance and things like that. I downloaded her template. I want to use it with my crew, with my fellas, because they need financial literacy now. Because, they don't understand that when mom, dad, or uncle swipe the card at Burger King and get the food, like that money comes from somewhere. That's not a magic credit card that just put your code in and it comes through. I have to work. I work for that. That's attached to an account that's got money in it, and I've been gracious enough to set aside some time, since you want to go to Burger King, to set aside some time to take you to Burger King. That money comes out of my pocket. Yeah. So even though you don't see cash come out, that's like cash coming out. So that ain't free. But I'm doing this for you. Hopefully you're kind of seeing young love spending time with you, but also the fact that, right, come here. But also that, man, I got to get a job and work so I can afford my own Burger King, so I can afford my own stuff, so I can take care of my own shoes. So, because in the household that I grew up in, and the older I get, the more I'm thankful that, not that I grew up poor, but we grew up poor, but I don't want to be thankful, God, thank you that I grew up poor. But I think for the lessons I've learned while growing up with a mother who only made a certain amount of money. Yeah, we'll see y'all later on the Facebook world. We'll keep talking Facebook world. We'll keep talking a little bit.